The last time we had a geopolitical event, we had investors rushing to buy safe haven assets. But guess what, guys? We are now back in a similar situation with another geopolitical event. Well, what does this mean for the stock market and for the safe havens in general, for safe haven assets such as oil or gold? Well, guys, this is what we're going to discuss in today's video. We have here in front of us the chart of oil, and guess what, guys? Back when Russia invaded Ukraine in February of 2022, we had oil spiking all the way up to $129 per barrel. Guys, this was crazy. I'm sure you guys can remember that very well. Well, guess what, guys? We are back in a similar situation now with Gaza attacking Israel, and oil is already starting to spike up. Well, guys, are we gonna get another event where oil spikes up all the way back up to the previous highs there? Well, there's a big possibility that happens, guys, especially if they find out that Iran is backing the Gaza military up, because if there will be more sanctions for Iran, and therefore the oil prices will go back up. And guys, if we are to look at this chart here, we have a lot of highs here, clean highs that have left open here, guys. Okay, so there's a big possibility that happens. And if we are to look back up what happened back then, well, we had a slow reaction. So back on the 24th of February there, we had a spike up. However, by the end of the day, oil prices went back down. And guess what, guys? A couple of days later, that's when the actual spike in oil came in. And we may get a similar reaction today. Can you see? We had a spike up already. We may get oil prices coming back down, maybe towards trying to fill this gap here. This gap here left open at around $82, and then we may get a spike up, especially if the if the attacks deteriorate over there, guys. So very important we watch those. We also need to discuss what happens with the stock market. What are the implications, guys? We've smashed it with last week's analysis. Everything that we've given out in last week's analysis, guys, came out. So make sure you watch today's video very careful. Take notes, guys, and make sure you mark everything on your charts as well. That is crucial, guys. We are at the critical level. We discussed last week that we were looking for a rally, and guess what, guys? We did get a massive rally, especially on Friday. Now let's look at, guys, what actually happened last week here on the S&P 500. Well, on the S&P 500, guys, we had our we're giving you out the lower and the upper expected move for the week, and we were looking at prices. We discussed the possibility of prices coming into the lower expected week for the lower expected move for the week, and that's exactly what happened. Can you see, guys? Price came in perfectly into our IC here, okay, touched the lower expected move for the week and bounced off. And if we are to look, guys, at a 1 hour time frame, well, guess what? We had our support zone here, which has held in perfectly. And guys, let's look at what actually happened during the non-farm payroll report, because that was the best trading opportunity for us, guys. We had price running all the way down, clearing the liquidity below those lows here perfectly, stayed within our support zone. And if we are to zoom into a 5-minute time frame, guys, this has played out perfectly. Can you see? This is the reaction from the non-farm payroll report. We had market touching, okay, our lower expected move for the week perfectly here, guys. And then we had a break in structure, came back into our zone of support here, and had a massive reaction, guys. So this here should have been your entry, a perfect entry, and we did manage to catch that on Friday. And look at that reaction. That was a big short squeeze there. Now, in my opinion, guys, I think this was staged. They knew about the attacks that were going to happen starting Friday evening here in the UK. Saturday morning, and they pumped up the market just so they have someone to sell to. Okay, so the big smart money were actually selling into this rally. They were pumping up so they have someone to sell it to. And guys, we did open with a massive gap up there. Okay, so that is huge, and we're going to discuss the possibility of this in just a second. Now, what are we looking for next in here, guys? Well, first of all, if we are going to go back to the well, actually, let's firstly look at what should we expect for the week ahead in terms of news, guys. Okay, and we have important news to be aware of. Now, I've had some messages this morning saying that the US market is closed today. Well, guys, it's not closed today. Japan, there's a holiday in Japan that it's and the Japan market, the Nikkei, is closed. The US market, it's open on Monday, guys. Okay, the stock market is open. The most important news to be aware of this week, guys, where we have on Wednesday, we have PPI data, so inflation data, very important. We have the FOMC meeting minutes. Again, make sure you are aware of those. And then on Thursday, guys, we have more inflation data. So make sure you guys, you are aware of those news events that will happen this week. Now, guys, also to be aware of this week, we have earnings that are starting back up. And guys, very importantly, this Friday, we have the banks reporting again. They always start off the earnings season and they are reporting first. So we have the big banks. We have JP Morgan, Chase reporting, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Now, guys, those are one of the biggest banks on Wall Street and in the world reporting. So very important to be aware of those and watch the Dow Jones most probably will have a massive effect on it. Then be very, very careful on Friday, guys. It's going to be a very, very volatile day, especially as we've had banks selling off the last couple of weeks. Now let's start off the analysis for the week ahead. Now, guys, make sure you take a note of the upper and the lower expected move for the week. Now, in terms of the bigger picture here, guys, we are stuck between the 20 and the 50-week EMA. Price is compressing here, ready to break out. Where are we going to break out to? Now, if we are to look at a daily perspective, price has opened indeed with a gap lower, and as it stands now, is trying to go and fill this gap up. Now, from where I see the price going to, well, we do have those clean lows here, guys, which have not been taken out yet. There's a lot of liquidity resting below those lows. So a final target for the S&P 500 will be around here for sure. This here and also here as well, guys. Look how clean that is, guys. So those two targets, those two levels are my targets for the low in for the year, unless something more drastically happens, in which case we may see a bigger sell-off. But as it stands now, guys, that's what I see price finishing. Those will be the lows for the year. Now, where do we see price going to now? Well, first of all, I'm looking for this gap to be filled. Okay, that will be the first target, guys. And there's a couple of things here that I'm watching. At the moment, price is right at support here. We had previous resistance, turns into support. So as long as we can stay above these, guys, we are bullish. We have the support here and our zone of support here as well. So as long as we can stay above that, we are definitely bullish. If we manage to go fill the gap in, guys, okay, I'll be looking at my next level of resistance. If we are able to break above that, guys, if we are able to break above that, use this as support here and target, guys, target the liquidity that is resting above those highs here and possibly those highs there as well. And if we do manage to get a big move up all the way here, where we do have the upper expected move for the week, so that would be a possibility to sell into, guys. Okay, but as it stands, if we are just going to fill the gap, watch to see what price does. Make sure you are aware of this resistance here and those highs here. So we may go clean those highs get the liquidity above, and then sell off, guys. Okay, so be aware of that. To be honest, going back to the daily time frame here, guys, as I've mentioned, we do have just about a buy signal in there, but what I would like to see is that price makes a new lower low, takes all that liquidity. We have positive divergences here on the daily. That will be a much better entry. Another thing that we're looking at, guys, I do not want to see, well, if price makes it all the way back here, I would not want to see price closing on here on a daily basis. So I don't want to see price closing above the upper expected move, because if we are, most probably we are going to those highs there as well. So it can go high, it can go there, wick there, but then close back below, preferably below the 20-day EMA. Okay, next, guys, we have Apple, and Apple hasn't been doing much here lately. We do have that gap that wants to be filled, and this will be one of the targets that I'm looking for on the downside for now, guys. I wouldn't want to see, perhaps we may see a gap fill here, okay, but I would not want to see price closing filling this IPA in here, because if we do fill this IPA and we close above there, it's very bullish. It looks unlikely for it to happen as it stands, and it looks like Apple will open with a gap lower here. So if Apple is struggling a lot to go higher, most probably the market will struggle to go higher as well. Next, guys, we have the UK 100, and guys, as expected, as I've mentioned last week, we smashed this trade 100%. Make sure you go back and watch our previous video, guys. We talked about this blue line here being our resistance, and I said as long as we manage to not close above it, then we are bearish. And that's exactly what happened. We failed right at it. We tested it one more time, and then we sold off. We sold off right into our next support zone. Now we are stuck between resistance and support here, and we are looking for a break. If we get a close below this zone over here, guys, then I'm looking for price to go and clear that liquidity there, and perhaps even lower than that. If we go up higher, I will look for a move above this resistance zone, test it at support, and then go and clear that liquidity there, guys. Next, we have the DAX here, okay, the Germany 40, and here, guys, okay, very interesting. If we look for a weekly perspective, we are below the 20 and the 50 week EMA, and we are very bearish as it stands now. On the daily time frame, guys, we've managed to our zone of resistance. So we had our zone of support, so we have support was broken, turned into resistance, exactly as I outlined in the previous video last week, guys, perfectly, and we managed to go perfectly into our zone of support. Check that precision of that, guys. Okay, that's just crazy, the way price has acted perfectly of our zone there. Now, guys, here we are still bearish. Okay, we are below all the moving averages, and they all act as resistance. If we get a move higher and we do close above all the moving averages and above our resistance zone, then again we can say we are bullish. However, guys, I would like to see at least this liquidity being grabbed before we see a move higher for me to say that the low is in. Okay, for now, guys, we are making lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So for now, this is very, very bearish. I would sell into any rally that we have for now, guys. If we are to zoom into a 1 hour time frame, where are we? Well, check this out, guys. We had our zone of support here, support perfectly last week, guys. We've given this out in last week's video, and has acted perfect. And guess what? From here, we've managed to go all the way back up to where to clean that liquidity there, guys. That has been a perfect trade. Now, for now, price is holding our zone of support here, the blue line. What I'm looking for, guys, if we are bearish, I will want to see a break below our support zone. If we get our a break below that, look for a potential retest as resistance, and then a move lower to clear that daily liquidity, guys. However, if we get a move higher here, guys, and it looks like if we are to move up higher and fill this IPA in, then we may go and clear test our next area of resistance, and here as well. So a potential trade there, okay, even now could be go long here, okay, stop below here, and then target this area of resistance as a potential target. Okay guys, next we have the Dow Jones, and guys, the US 30 here, as I mentioned, be very careful. On Friday we have the we've got the banks reporting, okay, but where are we now with this? Okay, so price is having a perfect reaction, guys, out of this daily IC perfectly. However, we do have those clean lows here which have not been cleared just yet, and I'm looking for a low to be struck, guys. It would be a perfect move if price can act off this resistance now, go back down, make a lower low, clean those lows here, guys, okay. At that point we may have positive divergences as well, perhaps close to a buy signal, and that would be a perfect opportunity to go long, guys. Not now as it stands, I don't think so just yet. We do have this level of support, close just above it on Friday, but however, if we do close today back below it, this will be valid again, and it can act as resistance. The next level of resistance, guys, will be this blue line all the way up here. Now guys, if we do close right at this resistance here, we may have a break of structure, okay, and we might be back to being bullish. For now, guys, this is still very bearish. And if we are to look at a 1 hour time frame, guess what, where is price now, guys? We had our resistance turns back into support, and even this one here, guys, that's crazy. Support and support here again on Friday. That was crazy, guys. Okay, perfect support. Now as long as this support can hold, guys, okay, I'm looking for price to go up higher, okay, and take perhaps this liquidity all the way up there. Okay, that will be a target. However, if we do close back below, at the moment we do have price holding this line of support and also this IC here. I would want price to see on an hourly basis closing here, guys, okay, below this big candle, because if we do, then we are back to being bearish again. Okay, so watch, if we do get a close there, we may get more bearish action and we can target those daily lows there. Next, guys, we have the US 100, and guys, the US 100, we had a gap that we last week, actually 2 weeks ago, and we do have open with a big gap again this week. Okay, so guys, I will look at the moment, this gap is acting as resistance, but I will want to see if price can go all the way back up there and fill this gap in. If it fails and it's not able to go and fill that gap, guys, if we do manage to go back below the previous week, the gap from 2 weeks ago, use this as resistance, okay, and then target this will be the next level of support here and here as well. From a daily perspective, guys, this is one of the strongest charts out there. Okay, this has held our zone of support a number of times here and is now testing the 20 and the 50-day EMA. If we get a close above it today, okay guys, and we fill this IPA in, okay, and we close right at the high there, that would be potentially dangerous for the bears, okay, because we may get a big move up to clear that liquidity up there. So watch out for those levels, guys. Okay, look at the IPA fill in. Okay, we can see the IPA being filled, that's fine, but we don't want to see price closing above the after it's filled in, the IPA close at the high there. That's not what we want to see. Next, guys, we get the VIX, and guess what, guys, the VIX has managed to do some crazy things last week. However, we still haven't managed to close above the 20, guys, the 20 marker, and that's still bearish. However, guys, some interesting things that happened last week. So people say you can't, you can't do technical analysis on the VIX. Well, I guess what, I think you can, especially after what happened last week. Now, guys, last week, okay, we've had, if I can just bring this up, there you go. Okay, so we had those highs here. Can you see? Price went in, cleared those highs perfectly. Then we had a move lower. First, actually, let's go back a bit here. So price took the liquidity above here, then moved in lower. Moved in lower for what? Moved in lower. So after you take the liquidity, moved in lower to take in this liquidity After he's taken that liquidity, guys, he moved all the way back up to take this liquidity on, and now we've left that liquidity that is very clean, guys. I can see this being grabbed this week. This is just way too clean. That's not, I mean, there's something. I don't expect to see VIX going back all the way down here, okay, before cleaning all that. And even if it does, guys, I wouldn't trust the move, okay. Look at that, look at those highs. This will be the target, guys, and if we do get that, we get a big move in the VIX, then we may get a big move in the S&P 500 as well. Now the VIX opened up with a big gap. Watch out for the gap fill, okay. If we are unable to fill this gap, guys, okay, then watch out for that 21.33 level. Again, a close above the 20 will be very bullish. We haven't got that in a very long time, but if we do from 20 to 25, I think it will be just a sharp move, okay, so watch out for that. Next, guys, we have the DXY, and guys, we've given this out last week in our Discord community. We said that watch out after the DXY clears all that liquidity. Literally, it's taken that liquidity and then had a move lower. We did have negative divergences as well, so a sell in here is just a perfect opportunity, and I hope you did take advantage of that, guys. This was perfect there. Now, are we bearish on the dollar just yet? Well, not really, guys. We do have our trend line here and our level of support. Those are still holding for now, and as long as those hold, guys, the next level of liquidity that we are targeting will be all the way back at 107.963 or so. So watch this very carefully. Unless we get a break below the trend line, we are bullish on the dollar, guys. Be very careful there. Next, guys, we have the gold here, and gold, as expected, guys, today we had a massive move in gold. Gold is a safe haven. Now gold hasn't just had the move out of nowhere. It acted perfectly from this IC here. We had it active previous times here, and guess what, again this time we do have liquidity that is resting just below those lows here, and it's very strange that they haven't taken those yet. However, guys, if we get a move higher and we close above our area of resistance, then those highs here would be an easy target, okay. At the moment, I think we are just having a reaction of news and also an oversold reaction here. However, okay, watch this area of resistance. As long as this can hold here, guys, that's still, gold is still bearish. If we close above it, then we are back to being bullish, okay. Watch that very, very carefully. Lastly, guys, Bitcoin, which hasn't been doing anything at all, so there's nothing for us to discuss here, not yet. We need to see a break or above or below here on the weekly. We haven't seen that, so nothing to discuss. Guys, that's pretty much it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy our techniques and the strategies that we use, you can head over to our website, MCI Trading Academy, where you can learn more about the strategies that we use. You can join, you can find out more about the courses we offer, and you can also join our free Discord community. Thank you very much, guys, and I hope you have a great trading week there.